Hi students, welcome you all for this wonderful session. In this session we are going to learn chapter 3 scoping. So these are the contents of this lesson. What is scope, variable scope, LEGB rule, types of variable scopes and module. These are all the contents we are going to learn from this lesson. And first one, what is scope? Scope is nothing but it is the visibility of a parameter, variable and functions in one part of program to another part of the same program. This is what known as scope. Here in programming languages we can get the scope with access modifiers. And what is the level of the variable or parameter or function within the program, up to which part we can access the variable, parameter or function inside a program. That is what called as scope. Next one is variable scope. What is variable scope? The scope of variable is that part of the code where it is visible, from which part to which part it is visible. That is what known as variable scope. And next one, mapping is there. What is mapping? The process of binding a variable name with its object is called as mapping. Equal symbol is used to map variable and object in programming languages. And next one is namespaces. What is namespaces? Namespaces are containers for mapping names of variables to objects. Namespaces are nothing but if A is equal to B is there, A is namespace and B is what objects. This is what known as namespaces. In programming languages we can use single equal symbol to map variable to the object. Next one is LEGB rule. For what purpose we have to use LEGB rule? Scope is also defined the order in which variables have to be mapped to the object in order to obtain the value. So LEGB rule, what is the purpose of using LEGB rule? In which variable have to be matched to which object? We can define this concept with the help of LEGB rule. They have given an example. See there, x is equal to outer x variable. This is called as global variable declaration, because if you are declaring a variable before declaring any function, that is called global variable declaration. Next one displays the function x is equal to inner x variable, print x and display. And if you have seen this output of this example, first outer x variable will be executed, at last only inner x variable will be executed, but this is a different output. As like in this case, first inner loop or inner or local variable have to be executed first, the outer variable have to be executed next only, but here outer variable x will be executed first, at last only inner x variable will be executed at last. Why and how? Because you see both the variables name is same, x, so that it will get a confusion. So that only first the inner x variable will be executed and at last only the outer x variable will be executed. The LEGB rule is used to decide the order in which scopes are to be searched for the scope resolution. With the help of the LEGB rule, we can decide which one have to be executed first. That is what the main use of LEGB rule. Next one is, this is what LEGB rule: local, enclosed, global and built-in scope. And finally, 4 different types of scopes are there. One is local scope, Another one is global scope. Third one is enclosed scope, and the last one is built-in scope. So types of scopes: first one local scope, second one is global scope, the third one is enclosing scope, fourth one is built-in scope. First one we are going to see local scope. What is local scope? Local scope refers to the variable defined in current function. That is what known as local scope. When you are going to execute a function, the function will look up first. The function always look up for a variable name inside it. Then only it will search the other variables from outside of the function. If there is no variable exist inside the local function, after that only it will search and check the other variables or other scopes from outside the function. This is what called as local scope. See the example. The answer for this output program is 7. Disp a is equal to 7. Within the function I am telling the interpreter to print the value of a, and within this the function scope is over. If I have give this line after this function, it will not execute. Instead of executing, it will gives an error because it is a local scope. Next one is global scope. A variable which is declared outside of all the function is known as global variable. This means global variable can be accessed wherever in the program, or it can be accessed inside or outside of the functions. That is what known as global scope. Here a is equal to 10. This is what known as global scope. Here disp is a function. A is equal to 7. This is local scope, and here I am telling the compiler, I am telling the interpreter to print the value of a here, disp, and finally I am telling the compiler to print the value of the global variable. First the local scope will be executed. After that the second, the global scope will be executed at last. Next one is enclosed scope. Enclosed scope, it is nothing. In computer programming languages, all the programming language permits functions to be nested, which means all the programming languages are permitting the nested function. Nested function. What is nested function? If a function contains another function inside it, that is what called as nested function. Here what is enclosed scope? A variable which is declared inside a function. A variable, see here, a variable which is declared inside a function which contains another function declaration. See here, a is equal to 10. It is a variable. It contains another function definition within it. This is what called as enclosed scope. The inner function has also access. This is what called as inner function. The inner function has it can also access the variable of the outer function. It can access this variable value also. This scope is called as enclosed scope. Next one is built-in scope. Built-in scope is nothing but some scopes will be preloaded into the compiler. That is what known as built-in scope. All the programming languages are providing built-in functions. The built-in function comes under the topic of built-in scope. Next one is module. What is module? Module is nothing but it is a part of program. Programs are composed one or more independently developed modules. That is what called as modules. A single module can contain one or several statements closely related to each other. A software program can be divided into many parts. Those many parts are called as modules. So what is the purpose of dividing the program into modules? We can easily understand the concept. We can easily identify the errors. That is what the main use of dividing the programs into modules. The process of subdividing a computer program into separate subprogram is called as modular programming language or modular programming. Next one is characteristics of a module. What are the characteristics are there for a module? Modules contain instructions, processing, logic and data. Within a module, it can contain variable declaration, it contains some processing. For example, it can contain some formulas, that is what, for example, a is equal to a plus b or like that. And logic, it may contain logic, logical data or relational data like that. Modules can be separately compiled and stored in a library. We can, after creating or after grouping the modules, or after separating the modules in a program from a program, we can separately compile the modules and we can store into a library. Next one is modules can be included in a program. We are able to include the modules in a program. Module segment can be used by invoking a name or some parameters, and we are able to invoke the modules within a single name to the programs and for some parameters. And next one is module segments can be used by other modules. We can use the module for other modules also to get the result. Next one is benefits of using modular programming language. So because of using modular programming language, less code to be written. No need to write all the logics again and again. Just enough to call the particular function or particular module. Next one is a single procedure can be developed for reuse, eliminating the need to retype the code many times. No need to retype all the codes again and again. The third one is programs can be designed more easily because a small team deals with only a small part of the entire code. Because of using modular programming, a single team can easily handle the code. Modular programming allows many programmers to collaborate on the same application. Within the same software, modular programming allows many programmers to work together. The code is stored across multiple files. We can store the code of modular programming across many files. Code is too short, simple and easy to understand. Because of separating a big thing to small, it is very easy to understand. For a real-time example, it is very difficult to lift 50 kilograms and 50 kilograms object. But if you are dividing the 50 kilogram object into 10 kilograms, it is very easy to carry. That is what the real-time example for this one. Because of breaking a program into modular, we are able to identify the errors easily, and we are able to rectify the errors where the errors are located. It is very easy. The same code can be used in many applications. We can use the same applications or use the same code for many applications. And the last one is the scoping of variables can be easily be controlled. We can control the module very easily, and scope of the variables of modules also can be controlled very easily. Next one is access control. What is access control? It is a security technique to regulate who or what can view or use within the computing environment. That is what known as access control. It is a fundamental concept in security that minimizes the risks to the object. In other words, access control is a selective or restriction of access to data. In object-oriented programming languages, this access control technique can be implemented using access modifiers. Already we have learnt totally 3 different types of access modifiers are there. One is private, another one is public, the last one is protected. So first one we will see private. If you are declaring a variable as a private variable, you are able to call the variable, or you are able to use the variable within the function only, within that block. That is what private. If you are declaring a variable as a protected one, you are able to use the variable within the class and within its subclass. That is private. Next one is, if you are declaring a variable under protected, you are able to use the variable within the class and within its subclass. The last one is public. If you are declaring a variable as a public one, you are able to use or you are able to access the variable within the program, which means within the entire program you are able to call the variable or use the variable, whatever you want you can do. That is what public access modifier. In C in C++, Java programming languages, by default access modifier of variable is private, but here access modifier of access modifier of variable by default is public in Python programming language. And how can we identify the protected and private variables? In Python programming language, before a variable double underscore is there, that could be known as private variable. Single underscore is there, that could be known as protected variable. So it is such a small lesson. So students, I hope you all understand the concepts very well. So keep on watching the video. If you have any doubts, don't hesitate to call me, and if you have any doubts, please make a note of it. After reopening the school, we will discuss the doubts. I hope you all understand the concept very well. Thank you all. Thank you so much.